players. I mean, each player in there, all four, both safeties, both corners, both all of them are great players. They work well together. Obviously, they got a lot of confidence in playing well together for a little bit of time now, not years wise, but they got a lot of games together. And it's the second year that we had a good start to this season as well. So, good job. A little bit, but I mean, it's easy to jump right into it. Whoever, just like in the real world, whoever your boys' enemies are, those are kind of your enemies. So you adapt to that and you jump in and kind of just pick up where everything left off.
Has there been anything specific that your teammates have told you about what it was like to go against them the last few times?
No, I don't think this game is getting made into, obviously them being the team that they are, winning the Super Bowl, being 2-0 at this point, and obviously having a really strong team for the rest of the league. There's going to be some extra intensity you have to bring to that, and attention to detail to make sure you can win a game like this. But I don't think it's getting bumped up as like a Super Bowl game in people's mind the way it is in the media. But it's obviously an important game. Every game is, whatever game is your next game is the most important, and that's how we're looking at it.
When you go back and look at the tape of catches like that one, like almost against the turf there, never surprised that.
No, I'm more surprised when we don't come down more than anything. Those stand out to me more than the ones that we grab because we expect to train that way, we expect to make all the plays. So through pass interference or holdings, whatever, I'm more thinking about those plays. There's that one in the end zone, third down. Our sideline on the left side, it was a third down that I wish I would have come down with, even through some contact. So those stand out to me more. Just trying to make as many plays as I can to capitalize on all the opportunity.
Two games in, when you guys are coming off a game where 4 guys scored touchdowns twice for inside the 5. How do you explain that depth and how it's helping this offense?
Yeah, it just keeps these defenses honest and it makes it to where they gotta play it out pretty true. And, you want to double any person down there, it's just gonna make the opportunity for another player a lot easier. So it just kind of, like I said, it just makes it play it honest. We've got a lot of players at each position, multiple running backs, multiple receivers, multiple tight ends that can make it happen. And obviously we know who our quarterback is, so anytime we got an opportunity to have a one-on-one, Sean's going to find that and hopefully we'll be able to capitalize.
As long as you've been playing in this league, how do you describe that?
I mean, it's a beast. The fans are intense. The team is always good, so it's always a good job.
Davante, you talk a lot about working with Matthew's staff in the above the neck stuff in preseason.
Yeah.
How did that kind of materialize now? Do you see yourself on the field physically making the edges?
I mean, it doesn't always carry over exactly because every play is going to be different, but it gives you a chance at being ahead of the game. So anytime we can talk through certain things, we had a few things that happened actually in practice, and then we saw it in the game. We were able to hit on it. So even the touchdown that I had, it was the play that was called to look a little bit different than the way it played out, just based off the coverage we had, the way they've been playing, me throughout the majority of the game. Things change, and it just gives you an opportunity to adjust kind of on the fly. That's what this team does well. It's just kind of take counter punching and taking what the defense gives you.
Those conversations kind of seem to replay.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes will have it may not be always a conversation, but there may be a play that was similar that I had before, something in practice where I'll kind of within the play think about it. When the ball go in the air, I've had multiple plays like that in my career where I'll run the deep route, the ball be in the air, and it'll feel so much like a play that I've had before, where you almost have deja vu, like actively during the game, where you can still focus, but it's like a quick flash of like, I've been here before.
That catch off the turf that you were talking about, Matthew threw it kind of sidearm to get it there. At this point, are you surprised in the moment that he's attempting that and trying to make that throw, or are you already kind of expecting that?
I mean, I wasn't expecting exactly how he did, but you expect that. I mean, with the confidence he has, and he has earned the right to be confident the way he is. I mean, he's been throwing the ball like that since he got in this league. 17 years later, still spinning the same way. So never surprised when he's throwing it, but some of the arm angles maybe sometimes it's throw me off. But, yeah, I'm always ready, and I think everybody else kind of understands the type of player he is to be ready as well.
Changed his approach to training this year. How have you felt about his first chance this season?
I mean, I've kind of had something similar to this before, and I think it's a great tool because obviously in camp you get all this time where you go good on good or ones on ones, and you don't have as many opportunities when you start getting into the regular season. So, I mean, the fact that it's only 2-3 plays, maybe even one play sometimes, it just raises the intensity, makes it feel more game-like. Because obviously every game, every play in practice doesn't feel like it's as important as that one play you get in the game. So, if you can kind of minimize the sample size and make it where it counts a lot more. Guys got to run, whichever side of the ball doesn't, win in that drill. It just kind of, like I said, it raises the intensity for you, raises it in your mind, and kind of makes you play a little bit harder, knowing that you only have that few plays to improve. So,
You have conversations with Matthew on the sideline or in the locker room as you guys are discussing what happened in the first half. What did you learn about him and how he communicates?
well, he's just, like I said, he's just the chillest dude. Like his whole personality, the way he walks around, is the way that he carries himself within a football game, which it's different, but it's awesome. Honestly, it's fun for me, just because things happen over the course of the game, and I'm an emotional dude too. So when I see that, sometimes it kind of reminds me to chill out and take a deep breath and move on to the next play. So anytime your fearless leader can go out there and kind of show you better than he tells you, that's obviously going to affect the rest of the team.
Do you do anything? Do anything when you have back-to-back cross-country trips that you wouldn't do during a standard week-to-week basis?
No, I mean you get used to it. You get used to traveling and understanding that it's not really as big of a deal. Obviously, we'd much rather have all the home games. Not having to get on the plane and add that extra information to the body and having to extra hydrate, just things like that. So I guess drinking a little bit more water or whatever it is that your hydration of choice. That's something that's obviously important when you're traveling like that. They say a bottle of water for every hour you're in the air. I've heard that before, and I heard that echoed here when I got here. So just small things like that, but nothing too crazy.
All right, thanks, guys.